Welcome to the Destiny of Manufacturing podcast, powered by the Precision Metal Forming Association. I am your host, Dean Phillips. I am the technical director here at PMA, and I'm proud to have with me today George Moran. He is, of course, the senior press and hydraulics specialist with Autokiniton. Welcome, George.
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, this is your second time on the show, I believe, right?
Yes,
and
correct.
it's great to have you back here. Always nice to have a different perspective as things change. You know, we always have a forward look on the show and ask everybody, hey, what's your big takeaway for 5 years? But we'd like to have other people on that to give their perspective of how it's changed too. So let's talk about right away, what is your perspective for the next 5 years? What do you see taking place?
So I deal a lot with hot stamping and hydraulic presses, mechanical presses, servo presses. So one thing interesting that's taken place, there was a big push for servo mechanical presses the last years, but a lot of big OEMs are purchasing regular link drive mechanical presses again because the cost difference isn't significant, and they did not like with class A body panels. They weren't seeing that big of a difference with the servo press over the link motion mechanical press. So that's interesting. I've seen a few OEMs, and I've seen a few friends purchase several large tandem lines that were regular link motion now. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Hydraulic press world. Some people keep touting the servo hydraulics are the next the future of hydraulic presses, but I don't really see it. I'm a hydraulics expert. That's what I do day in and day out. And with the servo pump and with the lack of the control valves, you don't really have the consistency and the holding pattern like in a hot stamping. You need to hold on bottom, and that's raw pump pressure. So switching to a servo pump would serve. I mean, it would work, but it would serve no purpose to me. Over like on a 1,200 ton press, you have a 355 cc or GPM pump, which is just a lot of horsepower. So, and thermoplastics like PHP out of China, they're making some really nice SMC and thermoplastic hydraulic presses. They have some servo hydraulics on those because you have to close the press, and then when the plastic or fiberglass is forming, you actually open the press, and sometimes you inject paint into the press, things like that. So something like that where you have to control the press within thousandths of an inch. That I see that as a good purpose for the servo hydraulic. So in automotive manufacturing, which is what I do, I see just a pure raw horsepower hydraulic press is the answer for most of our solutions that we need.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Let me take a step back to your comment about the link motion presses. I'm not sure, I hate to make assumptions that everybody knows what a link motion press is, but the way I always explain it to people is everybody will say, oh, it slows down at the bottom of the stroke so you can control you have a greater slowdown during your drawing or forming part of the stroke. But I like to say it accelerates through the rest of the stroke because that's what gives you more strokes per minute or more parts per minute out of the same slide velocity that you'd have to slow down for in a conventional press. Is that how you would explain it?
Yeah, I would explain that with so you have your rockers and your toggle links, which form the link motion. So on your way down, so let's say you have a 16 SPM tandem line, 20 SPM tandem line, in your forward motion, you're going to run at that, whatever it is, 20 SPM. But when your rockers kick in and your links kick in, you're gonna return to the top so much faster. So let's say you have a 16 SPM throughput, the press could actually run at 25 SPM standard because the motion from bottom to top is so great.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where the advantage comes in to me, anyways. For me, you're able to get more. I just tell people you get more parts per minute at the reduced slide velocity that you need for the doing your drawing work. Um, and do you see that? And I've always been a huge advocate for link motion presses because the cost difference of the conventional press to a link motion, yeah, there's a cost difference there, but you can gain as much as 30% or so in productivity, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and now I get and that's a significant cost savings converted to like a servo press where you're really having to step up the cost, and you have to look at what are the benefits, because I go into a lot of plants, and when I'm in there, I don't see people using all the other functionality. Uh,
Yeah. So
what do you see?
they start out they start out with all the bells and whistles like an AIDA servo press has like its rapid restrike and its what how many ever points you can modify through the motion. I don't remember exactly. Let's say you have 30 points that you can modify through the motion. So it starts out with we bought this amazing piece of equipment, but over time running it, the operators and everyone just stopped using those things, and they run
Right.
it like a conventional press.
Yeah. If you're doing this, you're probably not gaining much of the advantage you have in a servo.
Yeah, and it's a
I,
several $1 million upgrade. Like
oh yeah.
like a transfer press, let's say your link motion transfer press is like $8.5 million. The servo one's 11 million. So you spent 2.5, 3 million extra dollars, and then your guys just stop using that function, which is the functions in the servo press are amazing, obviously, but
Hmm.
you have to really know what you need and how to own that.
Yeah. Uh, Tell us a little bit. Can you explain a little bit for a lot of people that are newer to like the hot stamping? Uh, can you tell us what some of the benefits of going to a hot stamping operation, and also the press type that you need for something like that?
So hot stamping is used majorly for crash structures in a vehicle. So the material is ultra hard. Like I don't know exactly. Let's say like 60 Rockwell. Like it's hard when it's done being pressed. So in
Hmm.
your like let's say in your driver's side door, your passenger door, there's a hot stamp crossbeam in most modern vehicles, so that when you're hit from the side, your door doesn't collapse on you. Um, we've at one of my previous employers, we made a part for a roof bow. I can't tell you the vehicle, but we made a roof bow part that was a mil and a half thick, so it's really thin metal. But you could park two vehicles on top of it, and it would not bend. So that's the
now
advantage.
that's now that's strong. That's strong.
And Tesla famously has gone to hot stamp double door ring, like on the Cybertruck. So,
Hmm.
I mean, that's known information, so I could talk about that. So they have so your single door ring is normally 7-piece laser welded Taylor blank, and then you have your
Hmm.
double door ring, which is probably 14 blanks or something like that. And they form it all in one piece so that your crash structure is the whole side of your vehicle, which is pretty amazing. So
Wow.
the press you would need is a standard, just a standard hydraulic press with the servo valves, proportional valves. The what you need is it has to have the pumps. The pumps are generally quite large on a hot forming press, so that you can hold the press on bottom while it's quenching. So you have your part go through the oven, and then the robot speed feeder takes the part and puts it into the die. And when the die closes, the only thing the press is doing, it forms the part obviously, but it's holding the press closed so that water can flow through the die. So when the cold water quenches the part is what hardens the part.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of PLC control and everything with these presses for the speed feeder robots, the oven command, and then the press. So the presses are very fast. They could run 700 to 900 millimeters a second in free fall, so they're very quick presses. So you need
Yeah.
to have the pump volume and the proportional control valves that can modify that hydraulic drop. So it would drop you run from like 900 millimeters a second to 35 millimeters a second. So you have to have the control that could overcome that. So you could set like our presses, you could set the exact height where let's say 12 inches off bottom, it's less than that. It's probably like 5 inches off bottom where it just stops dead and moves to that 35 millimeters a second.
Okay. Now, on that, are they running that open loop back to the tank? So it's just basically free falling at that point for
When
this
it
for the high
when it
speed?
when the high speed, so each cylinder has a large prefill valve on it. So
Hmm.
the pipe goes directly into the tank and it uses vacuum. So the
Pulling that.
yep, it pulls it, so the poppet opens and it just sucks that oil in. And then
Gotcha.
when it goes to its pressing speed, the poppet closes, and then there's an A tank line on the side of the cylinder, your A pressure line that brings
Hmm.
the little bit of extra oil you need for pressing.
Okay. Yeah, that's really really incredible. Some of the new technologies that we have and are designing in here. What do you see over the next 5 years from a technology standpoint to improve some of the processes that we have today and taking them to the next level?
So a lot of things are going with like the ovens. So before, a lot of people used like pizza style ovens, like the stack ovens.
Hmm.
Um, Tesla famously again chose these for their double door ring. I don't understand why. Gestamp uses a roller hearth oven for their double door ring. But
Hmm.
so everyone's switching to, and the OEMs like Ford and GM really pushed the switch to the roller hearth furnace. So you could run up to, I mean, you could run two. We've at previous place I ran 200 part or strokes per hour, but you really want to be over 150. And with the pizza style oven, the multi-layer furnaces, you're at about
Yeah.
120. So with all the new competition and people bidding on jobs, you want to be over 150. So the technology really is in the oven speed. And then there's a company called NSM Magnetic. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Uh,
I've heard of them. I'm not familiar with them though, to any
they
extent.
they make speed feeders, transfers. At Tesla, they've made the whole front and end of line for their tandem line presses. It's a very large company, but they've come up with something called high speed hot stamping. I can't give you all the details, but it increases the output tremendously. If anyone's interested, they could look up NSM on LinkedIn and get some information.
Hmm.
But they're installing lines at major OEMs over Europe, and it's very interesting.
Okay. Now, what kind of duration will the tools hold up for a period of time? Because of course, when you put hot parts into the tool and you're quenching them, you also have things that get left behind on the tool and cleaning them. And how long do the tools last on some of the jobs?
So I'm not a tooling expert, and I'm not going to lie to you,
Okay.
but so they're I know they're switching to newer style tool steels with different coatings on them. I wish
Ah,
I had
yeah.
a better answer for you, but the details they change the details out completely every oh, it seems like every year for
Hmm.
the die details.
Yeah.
The punches seem to last with our, so we really have the process down where we have the punches and the lifters where they're working properly, so they seem to last a long time too. But I don't have like exact numbers for you. I try to
Okay.
stay away from that.
And I don't blame you. I don't
I,
blame you at all. That's how
I make
that's
the
how I
press
am.
go up and down.
Years ago when I worked at Niagara, I used to come in there and I said, okay, we have a press over here and it has a slide. You go over here on the press brake and it has a ram, and you come over here on a shear and it has a crosshead. Now,
Yeah,
and they go, we just make things that go up and down. That's all
yeah.
we do. Tooling is everything else. And that's
Macrodyne calls their hydraulic presses a crosshead on their crown.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I worked for Macrodyne before I come to Autokiniton. So yeah, they have so in the US we're used to bed, upright, crown. They call it
Hmm.
the base, side slab, and crosshead, which
Huh.
I never could get around with it.
Yeah, yeah. That's just it's just a different name for it. One of the guys I used to work with, he used to say that. He says, we got three or four names for everything in this industry.
Yeah.
You know. So George, to take kind of a different direction. Tell me a little bit, why did you get involved in manufacturing?
So my father was and his father were both millwrights. So my first so when I was in school, my I first started working with my father. He was a millwright foreman, so he was actually my first journeyman. I tried out some other type of job and didn't really work for me, but so
Yeah,
I went and worked with my father. We started building like gasoline plants and natural gas plants and everything, and I really took off from there. So I first started, I worked in Philadelphia. We built BP's gas plant. So
really.
I didn't know anything. So the one guy taught me how to weld. Dad taught me how to be a mechanic, this, that, and the other thing. So I worked there for a few years, and I started traveling for work, and I
Hmm.
got really good at my job. I before I got into presses, I was a welder, a pipe welder. So I worked my way up, worked my way up, worked my way up, and eventually I was welding nuclear boilers
Mm,
with titanium and Inconel and Hastelloy, and so it was very interesting. And then one day, I'll tell you how I got into presses. One day, a company in Indiana, they were having a tough time with their machines and everything. So the plant manager called the company I worked for and said, "I just need some people to come in and help maintain the equipment. We're not making good parts, this, that, and the other thing." So I went in there. That was the first time I ever seen a hot stamping press. I
hmm,
didn't know anything about it. In 6 months, they hired me on to be their maintenance technical lead. So
great.
I went from not knowing anything about presses, and now I've worked on presses for forever now, and
Yeah.
it was my calling. Like I just understood them, and then I
Right.
had a one of my best friends and my teacher, my mentor from Germany, Oliver. He was Schuler Press.
Hmm.
He worked for Schuler Press for like 25 years, and he managed their business all over Europe and South Africa and everything. And he really taught me presses. I still talk to him every day, and if I have something I don't understand, I just message him sometimes.
Great. Great. Yeah. And Schuler's, obviously they've been acquired by Andritz, and
Yeah,
then you have, of course, Schuler though had owned, Clearing Niagara Bliss, which was what I was part of when uh,
yeah,
before they uh, kind of moved around, and they even bought out Mueller. They were part owners in Mueller at
yeah.
Mueller Weingart.
Mueller Weingarten. Yep.
Yep.
Uh,
So
if you look at some of the some of their servo presses, like their transfer presses, they still say designed in Weingarten on them.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. That's incredible. I think a lot of times people don't realize how small our industry is
yeah,
as a whole. I mean, everybody kind of knows everybody and has good relationships. But one thing I'll say is that once you get in this industry, I told a friend of mine, I said, if you're in here 5 years, you're never going to get out. You
yep,
just, it just, it's
exactly.
just the way it is in this industry. It's a very tight knit group of people. So, and
Yeah,
great people. I will say that everybody's
I love our
phenomenal.
industry.
Yeah, yeah, me too. So what other things, if you have hot stamping, what are some things that you can recommend to people of what they need to do to make sure they take care of their machines so that they have the duration to make it to that 5 year future of manufacturing that you want them to?
A lot of people don't understand the maintenance of a hydraulic press, so they just go and check mechanically, check, oh, do I have any leaks? I don't have a leak. Is my pump hot? My pump's not hot. Let me check the Gibbs. But there's a lot more like a hydraulic press is like the hot rod of hydraulics. Every hydraulic technology that exists is on a let's say a good brand hydraulic press like a Schuler, like an APNT. You have it's like a Ferrari. You have uh, like the most modern technology on it, and
Hmm.
you can't just look at it and be like, oh, that that's okay now. So I'm actually going to drop a reference to a company that I really enjoy working with. So there's a company called Plant Engineering Services. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They actually take an oscilloscope type computer and hook it to the press, and they can tell, is your pump activating when it should? Is your proportional valve activating as it should? Does it have full throw from 0 to 24 volts, 0 to 10 volts, whatever it is? So what I would, and you could buy these computers yourself from Hydac. They have one called an HMG 4000. What I'd
Hmm.
recommend in hot stamping, before we even get to ovens or anything, is really understanding your press, because um, you could get a hydraulic problem that is 6 hydraulic problems in one, and you're down for days. So
Hmm.
I'd really recommend hydraulic training, uh, hiring a company like PES to come in and give you that training, or just having them do your yearly PM, like hook up their diagnostics and they'll tell you what to fix, which is quite
Yeah.
useful. On the furnace, if you have a roller hearth furnace, always maintain your burners and your burner control. Um, Always. So one of the things that you're supposed to do that some companies I see don't do, you're supposed to rotate. I don't know if you know anything about the roller hearth furnaces, but there's an Inconel tube on the bottom and a ceramic tube on top. You're supposed to uh, roll the tubes every 6 months so they don't droop, so you don't damage them.
Hmm.
Just maintenance. To like A press can fail rather quickly in a few years if you don't take care of it.
Oh
But
yeah.
that, that's really it.
Yeah.
A big part of my day is helping to make plans and make improvements and to maintain the presses. So I'm really, really big on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Uh, George, we're just out of time now, but I really want to thank you for jumping on here with us today. I know it's been kind of back and forth, and you were out of the country, and then I was
Yeah.
tied up with a couple things. So I really appreciate you taking time to jump on here with us today.
Yep.
So
Thank
thank
you
you.
for having me.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if anybody has any questions or wants to dispute me, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Well, I don't think there's many people that want to dispute you on some of this stuff, but well, I'm sure hopefully they have some good comments for you after we get this posted. So I appreciate you, George. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.